I'm Paul Alister, and I'm going to be talking about my story of how I went through jail for 7 years for a crime I didn't do. I became one of Australia's first convicted terrorists.
Paul Alister was wrongly implicated for the bombing of the Hilton Hotel in Sydney in 1977. The blast resulted in the deaths of 3 innocent bystanders.
How did you feel when you found out you were wrongly implicated for this event?
Well, I was shocked, of course, a little bit bemused because it's so far from what I believe in, but naively I thought that in time when I get to put my side to the allegations, I'd be proven innocent, but it took 7 years before that finally happened.
How were you able to get through that 7-year period when you were in prison?
Well, fortunately, being a meditation teacher, I had a lot of time to use meditation to help me get above all the problems that I was finding in jail. Jail is probably one of the few places where you get a lot of time to do things like meditation. And so I got to the stage where I was very, very happy, actually. And I shocked one of my visitors by telling her that I didn't mind if I did the full 16-year sentence that I got without parole, because I was just so happy. Yes, I'll put it down to the meditation.
So, Paul, you were able to overcome adversity in your life of being implicated as a terrorist for the Hilton bombing using your spiritual practices of Ananda Marga. Would you be able to explain what Ananda Marga is and how you practice it?
Ananda Marga was founded in India in 1955. It's based on a very old yogic tradition, thousands of years old, which centers around meditation and other yoga practices for developing the individual so they can develop their own potential, but also it believes very strongly in using that potential and those developments for making society a better place. So it has a very strong social service and social action program as well.
Do you ever reflect back on that part of your life, or have you just reconciled from it and been able to just move on?
Pretty much moved on. It's sort of like a past life for me. It was so long ago. I was 22, I think, when I went inside, and 29 when I got released and compensated. But I'm now in my mid-60s, and it's only generally if people like you ask me. But I don't mind about it. As I say, I've written a book about it. It's all just sort of like talking about an event that I happen to know a lot about.
What would you want people to take away from it after reading it?
That doesn't matter how bad your situation, if you can learn to go inside yourself, you can find that inner peace and happiness which is not dependent on what the environment is. It's dependent on you, and so it doesn't matter how bad things seem, there's a positive side to that. You just have to be able to find it, which meditation can help you do.
Do you think what happened to you could potentially happen again today?
Unfortunately, I think it could. I just see the way the phobias that were created around the Muslims in Australia concerning terrorism was similar to the way we're branded when we got arrested. One of the jurors said that the reason why they convicted us because they're very suspicious of us because we meditate and were vegetarians. I thought that was couldn't trust someone who didn't eat meat and meditated. But similarly, just going on the way some people, not only Muslims, but any sort of minority group which is a bit different to the mainstream, rather than trying to find out what they're really about, they're treated with suspicion and used as an easy scapegoat as we were done.
Thank you so much, Paul, for taking the time to talk to us today.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Rolling. Scene one, take one, shot one.